From translation, NIV, New International Version, this 257 day of the year. Today we are reading passages Ezekiel 46 to 48. Ezekiel chapter 46, verses 1 to 24. The prince's portion, the east gate. The prince was to enter by the gate of the porch on the Sabbath days. He was to enter by this gate on the Sabbath and on the new moon. But on other days, he was not to enter. He is to provide a grain offering of an ephah with each bull and an ephah with each ram, and as much as he wants with the lambs, along with a gallon of oil for each ephah. When the prince enters, he is to go in through the vestibule of the gateway, and he is to come out the same way. But when the people of the land come before the Lord on the appointed festivals, whoever enters through the north gate to worship is to go out through the south gate, and whoever enters through the south gate is to go out through the north gate. No one is to return through the gate by which he entered, but each is to go straight out. The prince is to join them in going in and going out. At the festivals and the appointed assemblies, the grain offering is to be an ephah with each bull and an ephah with each ram, and as much as he wants with the lambs, along with a gallon of oil for each ephah. When the prince provides a free will offering, either a burnt offering or fellowship offerings he offers to the Lord, then the east gate of the inner court is to be open for him, and he is to provide his burnt offering and his fellowship offerings as he does on the Sabbath day. Then he is to go out, but the gate is not to be closed until he goes out. You are to provide a daily burnt offering for the Lord, a year-old lamb without defect, 6 each day, as I commanded. Along with the lamb, provide a grain offering of 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with 1/4 of a hin of oil, and 1/4 of a hin of wine as a drink offering. This is to be done each morning for the 6 lambs and for the ram. This is what the sovereign Lord says. If one of my princes gives a gift to each of his sons as his inheritance, it will belong to them until the year of Jubilee, and then it will be given back to the prince. His inheritance belongs to his sons only. It is theirs. But if he gives a gift out of his inheritance to one of his servants, that servant will not be released in the year of Jubilee. It will not be returned, for it will belong only to his sons. It will be for them. The prince must not take any part of the inheritance of the people. He must not deprive them of their property. He is to give his own sons their inheritance out of his own property, so that none of my people will be scattered from his property. Then he led me through the entrance to the side rooms of the sanctuary, to where the priest's quarters face north, and there was a place there at the western end of the passage. He said to me, "This is where the priests who have been cleared of guilt are to cook the sacrifices of the people, and bake their grain offerings, and not go out into the outer court, for thereby they would consecrate the people who bring them." Then he brought me out into the outer court and led me along all 4 sides of the court. There were courts in all 4 corners of the outer court. In the 4 corners of the outer court were enclosed courts, 40 cubits long and 30 cubits wide. Each of the courts was the same size. Around the inside of each of them was a range of cooking hearths. 6 hearths were at the bottom of each range. He said to me, "These are where the kitchen staff who serve the Lord's house cook the sacrifices of the people." Ezekiel chapter 47, verses 1 to 23. The man brought me back to the entrance of the temple, and I saw water coming out from under the threshold of the temple and flowing east, for the front of the temple faced east. The water was coming out from under the south side of the temple, south of the altar. He brought me out through the north gate and led me around the outside to the outer gate facing east, and the water was trickling from the south side. When the man went eastward with a measuring line in his hand, he measured off 1,000 cubits and then led me through the water. The water came up to my ankles. He measured off another 1,000 and let me through the water. The water came up to my knees. He measured off another 1,000 and led me through. The water came up to my waist. He measured off another 1,000, but now it was a river that I could not cross. Because the water had risen and was deep enough to swim in, a river that was like a stream to be waded through. He asked me, "Son of man, do you see this?" Then he led me back to the bank of the river. When I returned, I saw on the banks of the river a great many trees on each side. He said to me, "This water flows toward the eastern region and goes down into the Arabah, where it enters the Dead Sea. When it empties into the sea, the water there becomes fresh. The fish there will live in great numbers, and there will be all kinds of fishermen along the shore. The fishermen will stand along the shore. From En-Gedi to En-Eglaim, there will be places for nets to dry. But the swamps and marshes will not become fresh. They will be left for salt. On the banks of the river, on both sides, will grow all kinds of fruit trees with leaves that never wither and fruit that never fails. Each month, the trees will bear fresh fruit, for they receive their water from the sanctuary. The fruit will... This is to be the boundary of the land. On the north side, it will run from the Mediterranean Sea via Hethlon, Lebo-Hamath, and Sedad, Berotha, Sibraim, which lies on the border between Damascus and Hamath, and Hazer Hatticon, which is on the border of Haran. The boundary will extend from the sea to Hazar Enan on the north. On the east, it will run from Hazar Enan to Shepin, then down to Riblah on the east side of Ain. From there, it will run along the slopes of the Sea of Chinnereth on the east, then to the Jordan and back to the Mediterranean Sea. This is to be your land's boundary on the south. On the west side, the Mediterranean Sea from the southern boundary to a point opposite Lebo-Hamath. You are to distribute this land among yourselves according to the 12 tribes of Israel. You are to allot it as an inheritance for yourselves and for foreigners residing among you and who have become citizens of Israel. You are to consider them as native-born among you, and you are to assign to them the same inheritance as to a citizen born among you. They will have an inheritance among the tribes of Israel. In whatever tribe a foreigner resides, there you are to give them their inheritance, declared the sovereign Lord. Ezekiel chapter 48, verses 1 to 35. The leaders of the people of Israel will receive their portion, and it will be an area that extends from the west to the eastern border. Dan will have one portion. It will border on the north side from the eastern border to the western border. Asher will have one portion. It will border on the north side from the eastern border to the western border. Naphtali will have one portion. It will border on the north side from the eastern border to the western border. Manasseh will have one portion. It will border on the north side from the eastern border to the western border. Ephraim will have one portion. It will border on the north side from the eastern border to the western border. Reuben will have one portion. It will border on the north side from the eastern border to the western border. Judah will receive one portion. It will border on the north side from the eastern border to the western border. The special portion you are to set aside for the Lord will be 25,000 cubits long and 10,000 cubits wide. This holy portion will be set aside for the priests, 25,000 cubits long and 10,000 cubits wide on the north, 25,000 cubits long and 10,000 cubits wide on the east, 25,000 cubits long and 10,000 cubits wide on the west, and 25,000 cubits long and 10,000 cubits wide on the south, with the sanctuary of the Lord in the center. It will be for the consecrated priests, the Zadokites, who were faithful in serving me, and did not go astray as the Levites did when Israel was unfaithful. It will be a special portion for them from the gift of the land, a most holy part, bordering the land of the Levites. The Levites will have a portion alongside the boundary of the priests. It will be 25,000 cubits long and 10,000 cubits wide. The whole length will be 25,000 cubits and the width 10,000 cubits. They must not sell or exchange any part of it, nor transfer this choice portion of the land, because it is holy to the Lord. The remaining area, 5,000 cubits wide and 25,000 cubits long, will be for common use by the city, for dwellings and for open space. The city will be in the center, and these will be its measurements. The north side, 4,000 cubits. The south side, 4,000. The east side, 4,000. And the west side, 4,000. And the city will have open space. On the north, 220 yards. On the south, 220. On the east, 220. And on the west, 220. The remainder of the length, alongside the holy portion, will be 10,000 cubits to the east and 10,000 to the west. This will produce crops that will serve as food for the workers in the city. The workers of the city from all the tribes of Israel will cultivate it. The entire area will be 25,000 cubits square. You are to set aside the holy portion together with the city property as a square. The rest of the prince's land, his land on both sides of his special portion, and the land of the city will run along the border of Judah and Benjamin from the territorial boundary to the western boundary. As for the land that belongs to the prince, it will not belong to him. My sovereign Lord's holy land will always be sacred. It will belong to Zadok. The rest of the tribes, Benjamin will have one portion. It will extend from the east side to the west. Simeon will have one portion. It will border on Benjamin from the east side to the west. Issachar will have one portion. It will border on Simeon from the east side to the west. Zebulun will have one portion. It will border on Issachar from the east side to the west. Gad will have one portion. It will border on Zebulun from the east side to the west. And beside the border of Gad, at the south side, will be the gate of the south. And the boundary will run westward and southward from Tamar to the waters of Meribah Kadesh, and on along the brook of Egypt to the Mediterranean Sea. This is the land you are assigned as an inheritance to the tribes of Israel, and these will be their portions, declares the sovereign Lord. These will be the exits of the city, beginning on the north side, which is 4,500 cubits long. The gates of the city will be named after the tribes of Israel. The three gates on the north will be Reuben, Judah, and Levi. On the east side, which is also 4,500 cubits long, there will be three gates. Joseph. On the west side, which is 4,500 cubits long, there will be three gates. Gad, Asher, and Naphtali. The distance all around will be 18 miles. And from that day on, the name of the city will be, The Lord is There. Sign.